Hi all, welcome to today's video. In last video we have seen about the flow diagram, right? Mind map about unit 2 data literacy. We have like three subtopics under that, and it was very helpful to see the holistic picture of what is present in the unit 2, right? So completely like in artificial intelligence we have completed nearly 45% of the book, because the project unit 1 is the most biggest unit, if you see, because it has 6 stages of project cycle, and that we have completed, and we have completed nearly 45%, and remaining 55% we are yet to complete. We have about math for AI and generative AI and Python basics we will be learning in the upcoming videos. So today, for today's video, we are going to see about data literacy, that is unit 2, and what is data literacy and how to become a data literate, and what are all the types of data we have. All these topics we are going to see in today's video. So coming to the basics of data literacy, if you see that data literacy means it is the ability to collect, analyze and present data in a ways that make sense to understand to the world. So data means data literacy is the ability. Okay, so when you say that you are a data literate, when you are able to convert a raw data into information that is useful for this society. Okay, so out of raw data you do some cleansing and you apply some algorithms and you try to convert it into a meaningful information, so that a government or anybody who, who wants this information out of this raw data will become beneficial, right? So at that point you become a data literate. So if you see, I told, right, converting from raw data to valuable information, we have a small pyramid for that. Okay, so that is what I have shown in this graph. So in the bottom layer we have data, we have raw data there, and above that we have information. So once raw data is acquired and it is cleansed, it becomes information. Okay, once you apply all the cleaning mechanisms, right, like decreasing the null values, eliminating the null values missing, and when you normalize the data you get information out of it. Okay, so above that information we have knowledge. Okay, knowledge is nothing but that process data that provides context. Okay, and then wisdom, this is the highest level, allowing us to understand why things happen in specific ways. So wisdom, that is the highest point in that pyramid, so that it will help us to understand if I'm going to make this decision, can I trust this factual data? Okay, this says like this. Okay, then based on this I can do this, I can take this decision from this data. So we can take companies and organizations, anyone like who is in the higher authority who wants this data, valuable information, they will be benefited out. Okay, so this data pyramid is very, very important. Like just try to understand how the data flows. Okay, that we call it as the data lineage, right? How the data flows, how the data is getting transformed from one stage to another stage. Just try to go in that flow. No need to exactly understand the meaning of, just try to get familiarized with these words. So in the next classes, right, when you go to 10th or 11th, you will get a more understanding towards this context. And next, when we move, who is a data literate? Okay, so a data literate, we see that a data literate is a person who can use filters and ratings. Okay, this is very important. He can use filters and ratings. So if you take, right, when you go into Amazon or when you are searching any restaurant near you, how do you find that is the best restaurant? Okay, a simple way is to read the ratings and the comments. If the comments are given in a good way, we will choose to go to that restaurant, right? So we are trying to get information out of the data which is present over there. So those persons, right, we call them as a data literate. They know about the data, they understand, they try to understand, and they try to make decisions out of that data. So that we call it as a data literate, and this helps us to make informed decisions. Okay, so it is just a small example which I told, where we are choosing a restaurant, but organizations, right, they do not know what lies behind the raw data. They do not know what is happening. Okay, so in order to understand the data, they want more data analysts and data literates who can transform the raw data into a meaningful information so that companies can take informed decisions out of it based on the evidence, just rather than assumptions. So this is very, very important. We need a factual evidence. Okay, that only helps the company to grow more. We cannot just move on based on assumptions. This could be like that, that could have been like that. We cannot go based on assumptions. So for making any decision, a factual data and evidence very important. So for that, we have this raw data and information. Okay, and then coming to data, so we should understand how to protect this data. Okay, so this is the major criteria, major crisis which we are facing right now. We have, so for citizens, for example, we have large amount of data. We save our data on the internet. Okay, so we save our data over the internet, and we try to, and how like in the previous videos we saw recommendations, customized recommendations companies are providing based on the personal data. Okay, so data privacy and data security is very, very important, and the main thing here is you should understand what is the difference between data privacy and data security. Okay, when we come to data privacy, right, it concerned with the proper handling of sensitive or confidential data to meet regulatory requirements. Okay, so for example, we have DPDP Act, which is enabled by our Indian government. When we have similar data privacy acts all over globally, GDPR, we have different types of data privacy acts. Each government has given how the citizens' personal data has to be maintained. Okay, so that is called data privacy. So our data should be handled in a very safety and a very proper way. Okay, so concerned with the proper handling of sensitive and confidential data to meet regulatory requirements. Okay, to protect the confidentiality, so that we call it as a data privacy. And what is data security? Data security means our data should not go into the hands of theft or corruption. Okay, so in order to protect our data from the hands of thieves, we call it as a data security. Okay, the practice of protecting digital information, because digital information is spreading all over the world now, right? It is like exploding. So how the data privacy and security is very, very important nowadays. The practice of protecting digital information from unauthorized access, theft, corruption through its entire life cycle, we call it as a data security. Just try to understand the differentiate between data privacy and data security. In the exams, you will be asked what is the difference. They might give some options and you have to choose the correct answer, what data security means. So questions will come like that. So I will be posting in upcoming videos. I'm just consolidating what are all the important MCQs which can be asked from this chapter, right? Then we see cyber security practices. So for example, if I say cyber security practices, there are some do's and don'ts. Okay, so for example, for do's, if we see, when we are trying to set any password, right, that password has to be very strong. That password has to be very strong, and multi-factor authentication should have been implemented. Okay, so these are the types of keeping a strong password, and from how can we secure from theft. Okay, so having a very strong password and having two-factor authentication will surely help us from landing our data into wrong hands. Okay, and the second point, what are all the don'ts? If you see, so sharing our personal information. So sharing our personal information into the hands when into unknown hands. Okay, so we cannot share our personal data to anybody. So that is not at all required, like sharing OTP or any other details. We are not supposed to share it to anyone. So it is very important to follow these do's and don'ts while we are on the internet. Okay, while we are on the internet, because there are many cases, cyber criminal cases happening nowadays. Like the thieves are ready to put some software APK file into our phone. So when we click that link or download, suddenly the money will be transacted to another account. So many things are happening nowadays. So we have to not only protect our money, even the data is very, very important in today's scenario. So this is what I wanted to discuss today. In the upcoming videos, we'll learn more about data literacy.